Today's guest is the record-breaking cheese rolling champion from Brockworth in Gloucester. He has won 23 races chasing that pesky cheese. Now let's give a big Koit welcome to Chris Anderson.
KoitCast!
Hi Chris, welcome to KoitCast. Do you want to give everyone a grounding of who you are? What is your journey through life to this point?
Yeah, I'm Chris Anderson from Brockworth in Gloucester. Currently doing groundworks. Before that, I did 6 years in the army, in the infantry. And before that, I worked in Ashchurch, just working on putting kits and stuff in tanks ready to go out to Afghanistan.
Oh, up in Tewkesbury, is that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know the place. So you are a local legend. You might not like being called that, but technically you are for all us common folk. So you are a champion cheese roller and you hold the record, don't you?
Yeah, 23 wins.
23 wins. I suppose before we go into your wins and all about you and how you did it and achieved it and stuff like that, let's, I suppose, give all the details about the hill, the killer object that you run down.
Yep.
Do you know all the details of it? Anything you could disseminate?
As in the history of the event?
Well, you can do the history or the actual physicalities of the hill, because loads of people may not have seen it.
Yep, so it's a 1 and 2 gradient hill. And then in places it's a little less steep. It's got loads of like big holes, sort of divots, loads of ankle breakers.
Yeah. Rocks, presumably.
Loads of like Cotswold stone, rocks, nettles, brambles, just all over the hill.
All the fun stuff then.
They do try and clean it before the racing, but they can only get so much.
Yeah. So 1 and 2, do you know what that means? I mean, is that literally 45 degrees or is that a different?
So I think it's basically just one gradient off being classed as a cliff.
Oh, crikey. So we know it's steep.
Yeah,
ass.
so at the top of the hill, that's where the real steep part is. And then it sort of just mellows out a little bit, but not hugely.
Not too much, yeah. I've been up there a number of times myself, and it is a nightmare from the bottom and from the top.
Yeah, worse that on the top.
Yeah, very much so. So it's the cheese rolling is an event held, I believe, in the last Monday, isn't it? In spring.
Yeah. Last
so
month,
spring bank holiday.
Bank holiday.
Yeah, which is roughly what 31st of May or something like that normally.
Generally, yeah.
Yeah, it's a great event to be at. And do you know how many people roughly attend?
It varies year to year. I reckon we probably had about 6,000 or 7,000 this year.
Massively up from where it used to be.
Yeah, 2009 they had 15,000 try and attend.
Oh crikey!
And that was why they tried to stop it back in from 2009. And now it's organised by like the local community. Yeah.
Which is good. We have to keep that tradition going. I don't like to say things like this fall to health and safety, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's one of those good old authentic British traditions.
Exactly. How long are you on the hill for when you do the race?
Anything between 9 to about 16 seconds.
Yeah.
I think 9 seconds is my quickest, and I think my slowest wins are about 14 seconds.
And do we know how long it is, the path?
Only from what I've read, but it's meant to be 200 yards.
So yeah, you're basically essentially faster than Usain Bolt. I know you're falling down a hill technically, but
they did do a comparison against Usain Bolt running the 100 meters and a video of the cheese roll race, and it's similar time but obviously a longer distance on the hill.
That's mental, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'll be putting up a video at the end of this interview just to show people how properly mental it is. That was from a couple of years ago, I think. Now, in terms of the race itself, what was the first time you ran the race? How old were you at the time?
16. I was in 2004.
So give us the rundown of when you were 16 in 2004. What gave you the thought to do the race? And then when you were at the top, seriously, what went through your mind?
So before I started like getting into the racing, I used to go up camping with friends up near the top of the hill and get drunk. We used to throw each other down there and in the middle of the night, just sort of having a good laugh at the hill.
Yeah.
Occasionally someone would get hurt, but we'd just sort of drag them back up to the top, give them a can of beer.
The fix all, yeah.
But then, yeah, I decided 2004, I just left school and I thought I'd give it a go, try and win it. And I think I come second. And then I just decided from then I wanted to come back and win it.
Cool. But so when you were at the top on that first one, then what went through your mind? Did you think, I've been down this before, even though I've been thrown down it? Do you reckon I can do it and win it? What was going through your mind? Presumably no fear.
No, I don't remember being worried or scared in the first time I was going for the win. Just remember sitting there and thinking, I just need to get a good start and get like away from the bunch of people who set off at the same time.
Yeah.
And just try and stay on my feet as long as I could.
Too right. And when you're at the top, obviously you're in your own headspace thinking about that. Can you hear a shed load of people to your left and right think like verbally saying, "Oh Christ, this is going to hurt," that sort of thing?
You can generally hear them saying, "What the hell am I doing up here?"
Yeah, I know what you mean. Well, that is mental.
Real nervy, just sitting on the edge, waiting to go.
Yeah, yeah. And so when
the longer you
carry on.
I was gonna say, the longer you sit there and wait, the more nervous you get.
And how long do they actually keep you at the top before the race starts? So when they call you to say, right, race is starting in whenever, how long is it that you're sat there?
It depends what race you're in. So if you're in the first race, they line you up a good 10, 15 minutes before the racing starts.
Okay.
But being local and obviously winning it a few times, the last few years, I sort of get up there about half an hour before, and I just get sat on the hill where I'd like to be.
Where you want to be. That was going to be one of my questions, is like, how do you get the favoured spot? Is it just because you get there early and know exactly where to sit?
Yeah, so I try and get there early. Like this year, I didn't win the one this year, but it don't generally matter where I start from. I've won from all over at the top, but I prefer to be in the middle, and try and like get closer to the sort of line that I want to take down the hill.
Yeah. Is the line you want to take down the hill slightly, if you were looking at it from the bottom, isn't it on the left a bit?
Yeah, so if you're looking from the bottom, it's slightly to the left of the trail.
Yeah.
That you can see a prominent trail down the hill.
How did you find that trail?
I just used to go up there when I was younger and just used to like run down and mess about, and just figured that was sort of the smoothest, like less big drops.
Yeah. Because it comes out of it, doesn't it? It's all like down and then out and then down and all sorts of very jaggedy.
But if you go too far, if you're looking down the hill, if you go too far right, it's full of like nettles and brambles and like quite a few hidden rocks. And if you go on the left, looking down the hill, there's a big massive hole with a huge drop.
Yeah, which is not good either way. No. Now, you beat a chap called Steve Guide, is it, from memory?
Steve Jide. So I beat his record. I never raced him.
Yeah.
But he used to race sort of back 80s, 90s against Stephen Brain. And those two used to like constantly battle year in, year out.
But he had the record at what was it, 21, isn't it? From
Steve Jide had 21, Steve Brain had 18.
And now you are overall super champion.
Yeah.
Have you met Steve?
Met Steve Jide. Steve Brain passed away a few years ago.
Oh, that's
not good. He weren't very old. I'm not sure what it was from, so couldn't really comment on that. But yeah, I met Steve Jide. He came up when we were filming the Netflix documentary.
Mm-hmm.
But he's a bit older now. I think he's like 60 odd.
Right. Okay. And what did he say when you took his record?
Nothing really. Like he didn't even really seem to even touch on it, to be honest. He just said, like, we stood there like looking at the hill, and he just said it just looks so much steeper now. than like back when he used to race.
Exactly. You probably lose a bit
Which
of that
even over the
bravery.
years, from over the years, like from when I started to even now, you can tell it's like steeper in places. The hills changed.
Is that because of the whole a shed load of people are more, more people are running down it now, so it's eroding more, presumably?
I don't know if it's anything to do with the people. I think like just the weather doesn't help. Um, it doesn't help when like we have the race day and it's absolutely torrential rain. Because then like a lot of the mud and like the hill gets real badly ripped up when it's wet, and loads of people tend to just slide down.
Yeah, I've seen it.
But
Happened a couple of years ago when I was there.
yeah, but it's so much harder to run when it's in the wet.
Oh
I
God,
much
yeah.
prefer it to be like rain all week up to it and then be dry on the day.
Yeah. And what do you wear on your feet then? Do you have? I was thinking about this last night. Do people go up with like running spikes on, or are you not allowed?
You can wear whatever you want. I wear just normal trainers, but like generally, like you see people with getting breaks and like dislocated ankles, they're always wearing studs. So
Yeah,
I've
get
always
stuck.
avoided
Yeah.
wearing studs.
Oh, good choice.
Like there
On
was
on that
four
on that
dislocated.
topic. Sorry, go on.
I can say there was 4 dislocated ankles this year, and two of them definitely were wearing studs.
Ah,
Yeah,
tells you all you need to know, doesn't it?
yeah.
And on that topic of injuries, what injuries have you personally sustained on the hill?
So I broke my ankle in 2005, the first year I won it, but I actually broke it at the bottom, jumping up to celebrate.
The irony.
So, literally jumped up to like shouted yes, and then fell down in a hole.
Oh no.
Like couldn't really be out. I don't know if I damaged it during the race as well, but that was when I knew as soon as I landed I'd done something.
Never
And
good.
then 2010 I bruised my kidneys, which was
What? Oh, landing on
probably
your back, sort of thing, was it?
yeah. So it was one of the real wet years. I ran down the, if you're looking down it on the right hand side where all the nettles are, and I spun, stood back up to keep running, and I was facing back up the hill.
Oh, right.
So I just flew about 20 meters backwards and just landed straight on my back.
Crikey.
Still won it. Still managed to go back up and win the other 2 races as well that year. So that was the first year I won all 3.
Whoa.
But then once I got to the pub and had a couple of drinks and the adrenaline wore off, I was sort of got into a world of hurt then. And obviously the usual stuff you get with bruising your kidneys, peeing blood, and just real bad pain. And like the back pain went on for months.
I was going to say, well, that was my next sort of question. How did it work long term? I mean, your kidneys are fine now, presumably, are they?
Yeah, all good now. I was just suffering with like back pain, like pain in my side. And that went on for about 2 or 3 months. I did.
So you buggered up your back, hurt your kidneys, broken an ankle. Anything else?
I done something to my calf. I don't. In 2000 and I think it was 19. So it was the year that I broke the record. I don't know what exactly I done, but it bloody hurt. I never went and got it checked.
Oh God, probably pulled your calf or something then, eh?
The papers reported I tore a calf muscle, but like I never went and got it checked or anything. It was on fire.
Oh wow.
So,
Does it click or anything now?
no. Saying now, I do a lot of running now, so I'm all good now.
Oh, fair play. And obviously, so that's just in respect of you, unless there were any other injuries you've had.
No, that's just all I've had really. I've been knocked out. I got knocked out in 2007.
What, at the
And
bottom?
that was literally just before I crossed the line.
Oh wow.
Got carried off the hill on the stretcher. No, that was fine. Just a bit of a concussion. But
Well,
that's commonplace at Cheese Roll getting concussions.
hell yeah. On the video I'm going to show after this, you'll see a guy right in the middle of the race just smack on his head. It's mental. What's the worst injury you've personally seen there? Is this not your own, obviously?
Probably Steve Brain back when I was younger, and he was wearing football boots, and it looked like from just above his ankle, his foot was just hanging.
Oh,
So, but equally, again, this year, there was a guy with a similar injury. The cheese hit him in the foot. You could see his foot had come out the socket, and then he tried standing on it near the bottom because he hadn't realised.
yeah,
And that was just as disgusting. So
yeah. Horrible things. Horrible things. I was going to say about practice on the hill. Do you do practice on it or not?
when I was younger, I did. I don't know more. I go up like most years now because like everyone wants to have like interviews and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I tend to do a couple of runs down on the Saturday. But I suppose that's a sort of practice, but I don't never go 100% when I'm like doing the filming.
No.
So it's a little bit of a practice, but I can't risk getting injured anymore. Whereas when I was younger, I didn't have no responsibilities.
No, that's fair. Have you given up now? You've achieved all you want with it? You're not going to bother anymore?
So I wasn't going to, but then I wasn't meant to race this year. And then obviously I got beaten by the guy from Washington. So
Yeah.
now I'm sort of tempted to go back and run again. But
Well, you've got the record, so it's how much you want to push it, presume, you know.
yeah, I don't need to run, but when I go up there, I can't sort of help myself. So
The adrenaline takes over again, like, and the crowd probably cheering your name.
yeah, and like there's not many locals that run down anymore, and it's always been sort of a local tradition. We've always had like tried to keep at least one local winner, and then like this year we didn't have any in the downhill races. It was all from I think all but one of them was from abroad, yeah.
Yeah, that's a big thing happening at the moment, isn't it? Because obviously the Netflix documentary would have put it out wider, and therefore more people over the course of years now are going to start flooding in to try and win. And I don't blame them.
No, so the same thing sort of happened pre 2009. Obviously, when the videos started getting on YouTube, and then people watch it, and then like it's been massive for like Australians, New Zealanders, and Japanese, especially. They all come over and want to have a crack at it.
Yeah, and I see a lot of them do it in like what is it, fancy dress and stuff.
Yeah, we've had all sorts over the years. We had some people come over from Holland and rolled their own cheese down. They were wearing like cheese hats, and some people dressed up as cheeses.
Yeah, mental. And on that subject, you don't like cheese, do you? Or at least the cheese that's rolled down the hill?
Yeah, I don't really like the double Gloucester. I try every one that I win, but I just don't really like the aftertaste. It's quite a strong cheese.
Yeah, immature then, is it?
Yeah, and like I'm like, no, thank you.
No, I'm the same. I like the mild to medium cheeses. Worst case scenario, matures. No, you can keep that.
Yeah.
So what do you do then with the prizes?
It just gets dished out around my family. It's either like it goes to the wife, the father-in-law, my grandparents. So it all gets dished out within the space of a week or two.
I bet they love you. What with the prices of cheese these days?
Yeah, well, not this year.
Oh yeah, you didn't win, but there's always next year if you go back to it.
Yeah.
So what do you find is the best way to run it? If you could give advice for someone, what is the best way to run it?
You've literally just got to, as you say, run. Like especially like first 30 meters or so, and then at some point you're inevitably going to fall, and then you just got to try and get to your feet as quick as possible. That's exactly the same advice I gave to the guy who beat me this year. Before I was talking to him on a Saturday, gave him like that advice, like literally you've got to go for it. And that's what he did. We were sort of neck and neck, and he just kept his feet the longest. So
one of them things, isn't it?
Yeah, it was a good race, and fair play to him. I couldn't take anything away from him. So
good on him. I didn't come up this year to watch it, so I missed out on that. And the videos I saw on Facebook weren't that amazing, so I couldn't see who was and wasn't running properly.
Yeah.
Netflix documentary.
Yeah.
What was the process there?
So they got in contact with the people who was organising it.
Right.
It's basically the whole program. They wanted to. Originally, it was meant to be around me because obviously I'd beaten the record,
Yeah.
and I was going to Greece that year, and they was like, "Oh no, like we wanted to like film it because the program's called We Are the Champions." And so I said to him like, there's the girl running Flo, and she can beat the women's record that year, and fortunately, she actually did beat it. But they got like loads of past champions and did interviews and took pictures with them all. I spent like literally a whole day up there on the Saturday before it filming. I think I didn't get off the hill till like 9 o'clock at night. And then the next morning, the day of the cheese roll, I flew out to Greece, so I missed the cheese roll. I watched it all on YouTube.
Well, this is what my girlfriend and I were saying. Is why weren't you the focus of it? So at least now I know. Now we know that you were off on holiday. Otherwise, you would have
so
been.
it would have been, but I was going away. Yeah, it was our first family holiday, like abroad. So I couldn't really risk it. And they offered to like pay for me to have a later flight, so I could like have done the cheese roll and then fly out the same night.
Yeah.
But again, it was a year where the ground was really hard, and I thought it'd be my luck. I'd fall and break something, and then won't be able to go on the holiday. So
Yeah.
I just thought it weren't worth the risk.
No, hell no. You would
I
never
had the
hear the end
record
of that
already.
one.
So
So aside from cheese rolling, you
Yep.
do runs, don't you? Now you're into running.
Yep.
So what do you focus on there? What's your lengths?
I sort of try and stick to either like 5 and 10K racing, preferably road racing, but I've done the occasional like trail race. Not done a marathon yet. I've done a half, but like I'm quite into doing the sort of ultra marathons. I've only done one still so far, but like they're a lot easier than doing a marathon because you haven't just got to constantly run the whole thing. Like you can sort of take sort of a breather when you're doing ultras.
I didn't know that. So how does that work then?
So some of the ultras that like I've been to, and the one that I did do, you got like checkpoints along the way, and depending on what sort of ultras you are doing, like for example, the one I did, they had a checkpoint at it was just past 10K. Then they had one at 25K, and then it was sort of every 10, 15K then. And like they had like all sorts of food, drinks, energy gels. At the halfway point, when I did the Jurassic Coast 100K.
Oh, nice.
When I got to the halfway point, I had a chicken curry, and then finished that and got running again. Got to about, I think I got to 80K, and then it was like midnight by that point, and I had chicken and chips. So like they're a lot more relaxed. Like I wasn't racing. If you want to win them, then you've got to just constantly run it. But at that point, I wasn't looking at like doing like a real good time. But you need to do some real proper training to like run them completely.
And where does it run? Does it run on like the Southwest Coast path? Was that, or somewhere close?
The one I did, yeah, was the Jurassic Coast. So it started in Corfe Castle near Bournemouth.
Right. Okay.
And Swanage, and then basically it went down into Swanage all the way across the coast, and finished in Bridport. So it was 62 miles. It was in total.
And how did that affect your legs? How long were you out for?
I was on crutches for 3 days, but I fell off a curb at 10 miles into the race.
Oh, Christ.
Like I had to get my ankle strapped up at the 25K checkpoint, and thankfully, like it held up and I managed to finish it. But yeah, 3 days I was on crutches, couldn't really walk properly.
And you're going to do another one?
I'm hoping to do one next year. So it's a 44-mile run from Normandy to Pegasus Bridge. It's for the 80th anniversary.
of the old
of
D-Day.
D-Day. Yeah. So.
And have you thought about that? You know, they do those ones in the desert, don't they? Those ultra marathons across deserts and stuff. Is that what
Yeah.
you're going to build up to?
So I'm doing a trek in the Sahara in October.
Oh, quality.
So that's a 50k trek over, but that's over a week. So it shouldn't be too strenuous, but like depending on the weather, like how I cope with the heat out there, then I'm going to look at maybe doing the Marathon des Sables, and that's basically a week of running through the desert.
Crikey, that
It's meant
will
to be one
test
of,
you.
yeah, it's meant to be one of the hardest in the world. So
Wow. Something to aim for. If you do it, mate, quality luck on that. I mean, I can barely run 100 meters, so fair play to you.
yeah, I enjoy the road running though. So we'll see.
Okay, that's your thing. As part, you know, the cheese rolling itself is obviously they might call it an extreme sport these days.
Yep.
Have you ever been invited to go to another country to take part in one of their extreme sports?
Yeah, so they did make a cheese rolling event in Italy and in Canada,
Oh, okay.
and I was invited to go to both of them, but like at the time, like I couldn't afford like getting there. Like they offered accommodation and that, but I still couldn't afford like getting there and all that.
Yeah.
I've got a young family, so like if I'd have got hurt out there, just got sort of weigh up the risk.
I wondered if you'd been sponsored or anything like that across the years to help you do these things.
I've been sorry, cameras all over the place.
That's all right.
I've been sponsored to like to race by Spa Security, and there's been a couple of different shirt like makers who have sponsored like my shirt as well, and they've obviously helped out. I used to do motocross, and my son still does.
Yeah.
So they basically they just help out with that. As if if I help them out, they help me out.
And that's where your famous Union Jack top comes from, and that's what you're on now, presumably.
Yeah, if you can see it. But yeah, you got the Spa Security on there. Got I don't know if you can see down there. Sorry. Got Clodagh Carpets, which is a local carpet company where I live. DBMX Racing, and then I don't even know where it is on here. There you go on the sleeve. I don't know if you can see. Says SBA Creations.
Yeah.
And that's the company that made the shirt.
Oh, quality. It's quite iconic seeing you on the hill, and that can pick you out quite easily, you know, amongst the people wearing capes and stuff. Right, so let's talk about Brockworth. What's your thoughts on the place now versus when you were a lad, what it was like then?
Yeah, so it's completely changed now from when I was younger. I said I was doing building works, and I'm currently running one of the sites where the new building works going up on the Perrybrook estate.
Yeah.
So it's not so much like a little village no more. It's like a little town, really. People have like changed in the area. I still like know a lot of the people I went to school with who are still in the area, but just loads of different people, different cultures like moved into the area. Still seems like a nice place to live though. Like yesterday I went to they had like a little festival at the rugby club.
Oh, Brockfest.
Brockfest, went to that.
Yeah.
That was a good day out. Obviously we've got the Whitcomb Cider Festival now, that's massive.
Oh god, yeah. Who's headlining this year at that one?
Rag and Bone Man.
That's it. I saw that the other day, Rag and Bone Man. So they attract some, you know, fairly decent sized artists, don't they?
Yeah, and they used to sponsor the cheese roll. I think they sponsored it a couple of times. So, but I don't know if they did this year.
The only thing I'd say about, I mean, it's probably playing the same thing as playing out over everyone's local villages, and that is that villages now are shrinking, aren't they? Like to exactly what you said, small towns, which unfortunately means we lose a lot of our green spaces.
Yeah.
Which is a bugbear of mine.
Yeah, it's a shame, but I mean, at the same time, people have got to have somewhere to live where the population's always growing.
That is the trade-off, isn't it?
And obviously, there's a lot of immigration coming in as well. So
yeah,
That's a whole nother subject in itself.
That is a whole other subject, which we'll do our best to avoid, for fear that we'll get labelled something.
Yeah.
We're going to move on to a subject I call strange things, and these are topics that interest me no end. And some of my upcoming podcasts will reflect that. I'm going to say, what is the weirdest thing that's ever happened to you in your life?
Ooh. Weirdest.
Yeah.
So when my second son was born, I wasn't there. I was in Kenya,
Right.
and literally as I rang the wife to see how she was getting on, there was an elephant walking through our camp. That's probably sort of weird and sort of a good experience.
Yeah. Was he marauding through, or was he just ambling?
He was just ambling through. It was a couple of, there was, I think it was 3 of them walking through, and we'd only just got there and sort of set up, and they were just walking straight down the middle of the camp.
I bet that was a sight to behold, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's something you would never experience anywhere else.
Hell no. And anything ghostly or alien-y happen to you? Any UFOs? Any weird stuff in the sky?
No, not that I've ever recalled.
Fair enough. I always have to ask. What is your thoughts on UFOs or aliens?
I don't really believe in it, to be honest.
Do you not?
You just don't know, do you?
It's a hard one. I leave it up to the person because I strongly believe, but each to their own. If you do or don't, that's your call.
I mean, like sometimes you think you see something in the sky, and then I like to think that there's a rational explanation.
Fair point. A logical viewpoint on that one. Okay, we are now going to be entering the Koit zone. Koit zone! And in the Koit zone, Chris, I will ask you a load of random questions. You can give as much, again, or as little as you want. Some of these will be strange, so please bear with me. As part of your half marathon or long running, have you ever pulled a Paul of Ratcliffe at the side of the road?
No, but I've come close.
You know what I mean. And for those who don't know what I mean, look it up.
I nearly wet myself finishing a race the other night, so.
Oh, did you?
But I was actually beating someone who always beats me, so I thought there's no way I'm stopping.
Good on you. And then when you had that piss, was it 10 out of 10 for piss joy?
Oh, well, I forgot. By the time I finished, I forgot about it. It wasn't even until I got home about an hour later.
Crikey. What is the favourite band or music that you like to listen to?
So I like any music, really. I'm into all sorts. I'll put a bit of Venga Boys, a bit of Spice Girls, and then even a bit of Beautiful South, Robbie Williams. But quite like, what's her name? Megan Trainor. She's quite good.
She's all about that bass, I heard. Is that true?
Is that her? Yeah, that is her, yeah.
That is, I thought it was.
Yeah.
It's the only one I know. Next question. Tell me a story of when you stole something, if you ever have.
Yeah, I have, and you'll probably know the shop.
Should we be saying go for it?
Yeah, he caught me. So,
okay.
Do you know Mandips in Brockworth?
Yeah.
The happy shopper. So when I was about 10, he caught me stealing a 15p fudge. And, they banned me for a year. Did he let
you have it or not?
No, I got banned from the shop for a year, which was a pain because I lived about 300 meters from the shop.
And have you ever been back since to apologise?
Yeah, I went back in there well over a year after, and he was like, "You can come back in now. Don't be stealing nothing."
That's amazing. Well done for saying, by the way. What's the first thing in your basket when you go food shopping?
Wow. So my missus is sort of methodical when we go food shopping, so it's got to be done in aisle order. So it's always some sort of fruit, which ain't my cup of tea.
Mine neither. My missus does the same thing. She's straight down to the, I say missus, she's my girlfriend. She's straight to the veg and the fruit, and then I wait for the later for the meats and stuff. That's my aisle.
Yeah, looking for a steak or a nice cake.
Hell yeah. Fried eggs, runny or crunchy?
Runny.
You're in the right camp on that one. I always have to check that one. Pepsi or Coke?
Coke.
Pepsi or Shirley?
What's that?
It was a band in the 80s. Don't worry about it. Which is your favourite foot?
Right.
Get in. And tell us a funny story about about your time in the military, if you've got one.
So I've got fake teeth. I had them knocked out when I was at school, and I can actually take them out. And someone dared me to stick them in their glass of whiskey, and they downed the drink. That was disgusting but funny.
Can you take them out now? Oh, that's amazing. It's also weird at the same time, but I like it.
Yeah. No, I'm not proud of it.
One of the things in life, isn't it? You know, we all get damaged in various ways, shapes, or forms. So that's the end of the Koit zone. Just a few more bits. What's the next step for you in your life journey, be that work or personal?
I want to do a bit of travelling, to be honest, but I still got young kids. So once the kids have grown up, I want to do a bit of travelling, like New York, America. Sort of travel around America a bit, to be honest.
And what would you do there? Just to see sights, or is it theme park action?
Yeah, sort of. I'd like to go around and see like go in to see like where the World Trades were. I'd like to go to Miami Beach. Just sort of famous sort of landmarks.
Yeah. Oh, good luck to you. I know you'll achieve that goal. How young are your kids? Are they still relatively really young?
So the youngest is 3.
Oh, okay. So you've got a long while to go yet before that one, maybe. Is there any projects you're working on at the moment? I don't, somebody, you might have a book started or anything like that.
No, I do a lot of charity events. So just the Sahara Charity Challenge.
Right, and then into your running.
Yeah.
Oh, fair play. And finally, it's time for the KoitCast Guest Chain Challenge. It's hard to say, but it's easy to play. So what I'm aiming to do here is to create a chain of guests that people recommend to me and help me get. So you're the first person in your chain. The current record is 2 going on 3. So the challenge is this. I challenge you to suggest and help arrange a next guest for me if you know one. So either famous or a really interesting person. Do you accept or reject the challenge?
Yeah, I accept it.
Good on you. And on that accept basis, who do you think you could help me get to?
So I'd like to think I could help. I'm not 100% sure.
Okay.
But do you know Jamie McDonald?
Name doesn't ring a bell.
Adventure Man?
Adventure Man. Oh, the one who ran...
He ran
around the world, around UK.
So I think he ran across America. His wife, his wife ran the length of the UK barefoot. They're a unique family.
Yeah.
But he also won a Pride of Britain award for all the money he's raised for charity. And he's from Brockworth.
Oh, is it? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Well, okay, I will put him name down as a recommendation for you, and let's hope you can get to 2. Like I said, the current record's 2 going on 3, so let's hope your chain can last us long. I will leave it there, unless there's anything else you can think of to mention regarding the cheese rolling.
Nope.
Okay, well, I will say this. Chris, thank you for your time. Thanks for appearing on KoitCast.
No problem, thank you.
Cheers, mate. Oh, that guy.
This is getting worse with the mud.
Jesus. That's some proper destruction in that one.
That was really
That one guy hit his head right at the start.
well, the one at the front was flipping. I don't know if he was conscious.
To watch other episodes of KoitCast, or indeed animations I've made, click the image top middle. Click the image top left to download some of my songs, and click the image top right to subscribe to my channel. And make sure you tick that notification bell so you never miss an upload.